And we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Good afternoon. This is the Bold Leadership Stories Show. My name is Jim Miller, your host. And in this show, we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And I have the honor and privilege of speaking with Miss Kimberle Smith Austin. And Kimberle has a tremendous background in business. She's a business strategist, international leadership coach, speaker, and author. And welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'm excited about being here with you today.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show. Now, you have on your bio, you say that when you're speaking with people, you get them ready to live their best life now. Where
That's
did that
right.
come? And how can you make that claim?
Well, I take it from a point of experience. Today, there's this term called lived experience. And I help people think about their lives and how they can take this transformative process of realizing that most times what we've done in our life has been great. So I inspire them by one, looking internal and then sharing some of my personal stories that have helped me go from where I was to where I am today. And here's the truth. I'm here today, but I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Over 50, living what I consider a great life and excited about teaching people the possibilities of tapping into greatness and living the life that their heart desires and that they deserve.
Wow, that's beautiful. I met you at an event, the Temecula Valley Chamber event, a couple of weeks ago, and you spoke there, and I was sitting in the audience thinking, wow, this lady has game. She's put together, her talk is like flawless, and she presents well, confidence. And then when I got to speak with you afterwards, one-on-one, I thought I was blown away. You have so much energy, but it comes across as being very genuine and honest. And I walked away from that conversation feeling energized and empowered. Have you always been that way?
That is a great question, Jim. And I often ask myself the same thing. Did I come out this way or was this manufactured, if you will? And one of the things I think about, one of the company brands that I use is called Made. That's kind of Made Enterprises is who I am, but I have made to inspire, made to be fit, made to speak. And what I realized is that I was made this way. Let me tell you a little bit about what I mean by that.
Okay.
I remember being in college as a student in undergraduate school, and I would fall asleep every time, nonstop.
You
Somehow
too?
yeah, me too. And I don't know how I managed to get A's and B's out of these classes because sometimes I was asleep. And then fast forward going from college to the corporate world, sitting in the boardroom, being a part of this process, there were times when I found myself once again beginning to fall asleep or just kind of doze off a bit. Here's what I discovered. I said to myself back then, if ever given the opportunity to speak before people, that I would keep them awake. I would keep them alive. And what I realized is that what I desired was already made and created inside of me. And now I put these things together and just like that, boom, an explosion.
So you help people find that.
That's right.
That's amazing. So what was it that you found inside of you that helped you discover that?
Here's what I've discovered, Jim. Who we think we are is not always who we are. There's so much potential inside of us if we'd only take the time to step back and unlock the door. And I always say, and to step outside of our comfort zone. I have a speech that I've created. It talks about finding yourself outside of your comfort zone. Believe it or not, I used to be a little shy.
Yeah.
A little shy, but something happened in my life that I discovered that I was made for more. And as a result of that, I wanted to experience it. I wanted to touch it and actually live it out. If there was more inside of me, why not use it? It's almost like our brain capacity. They say we use less than 10%. Yet you and I have so much more that we haven't tapped into. So my personal ambition was to find it. What else? What else is there? What else? Because what I learned is that when you find success, it becomes addictive. And I'm one of those people that every time I hit a milestone, I'm going to the next level and the next level and the next level. And that's what I want to help people do. And I've been helping people do for over 35 years now. And it's one of the greatest joys that I've had.
Wonderful. What do you find people um, experience first when they're exploring this?
There's always this little word called doubt. Can I? Will I? Do I have what it takes? And right now we're in a society where this term about imposter syndrome is out here. So people are believing that I can't, I'm not capable, I'm not good enough. But if we really step back a little bit and assess our life, I always tell people you don't need a new miracle, you need a memory, because we have all excelled in some areas of our life, whether it
Mm,
was professionally, maybe it was in athletics, maybe it was academics. There's some level of success in each and every one of us. Now, the question is, how do we tap into that? How do we tap into it and live it out? I have a book titled Millions of Possibilities,
mm.
taking your ideas from inspiration to monetization. And in there, Jim, there's 5 areas that I have people really look at and say, how do I step out of my comfort zone? What problems have I encountered? What proficiencies do I possess? What's been my profession? What do I like to play and do? So there's these areas that we've engaged in, but yet we haven't discovered how to step out, find ourselves, and live this purpose-driven, heartfelt life that we desire.
Very good. You help a lot of people with. I mean, just being around you in that meeting, I felt your energy, and I know that's got to take discipline and some type of habit structure to maintain that. What's your secret?
I have had an interesting life. I will say that, life experiences, hence I said lived experiences will teach us. They say it's the greatest teacher of all times, experience. And when
Mm,
you take a look and say, you know what, how do I, whether it's multiply, my vision is multiply, not to subtract, but how do I multiply from these experiences that I had and live this in such a way that I can help other people? That's what
mhm.
I've done in my life. I looked at growing up on the south side of Chicago, the
You
tough
ought to make a
times,
song about that.
yeah, the tough times that I went through, then going to college, the careers that I've gone through, all of those things have led me to the place that I'm in today. Now, when you talk about discipline, there are a couple other areas I must say that have led to my discipline. I was a cheerleader, which is a very,
Okay,
in my opinion, a disciplined practice. I was a gymnast growing up as well.
okay. I
Now,
did some gymnastics.
you have,
Yeah,
okay.
that was fun.
And think about the regimen, the training we go through.
Oh
It's
yeah,
intense.
big time.
Yeah. And
Not
then I
easy.
left that, and as an adult, I started martial arts. I'm a third-degree black belt in martial arts, over
Wow.
20 years practicing taekwondo and hapkido. Did I mention I also went to the military? So I've got discipline
Well, thank you for your
ingrained
service.
inside of me, and that is how I've taken those things and multiplied them into this little person that I am today.
You little dynamo. Yeah. What excites you? What every day gets you up out of bed and energetic?
Whew, life.
Just
Life.
like.
It is. There is so much opportunity in front of us, around us, and it's all about perspective. Now, I
Mm,
could be one of those people, again, having grown up in Chicago in a tough background, substance
mm,
abuse around me everywhere. And I could have chosen to walk in that path, but I knew there was more. I knew that I was made for more. And making the decision to say, you know what? I want to experience that. I stepped out and now I see life. Oh, it's grand. Let me add something. I
mm.
moved from Chicago to California in 2006.
Okay.
This was the move that changed the person that I am. I lived inside. It was 20 below, 30 below. And I used to travel 30 to 35 weeks a year as a management consultant. And I'd end up back in Chicago in the winter, 20 below zero, 30 below zero. And I thought one day I'm going to leave. And that day came in 2006 when I made that decision. And I have been changed as a result of that. I swim in oceans. What? The ocean? I didn't do that growing up. I barely got in the lake. I swim in oceans. I climb mountains. I talk to people that I may not have been accustomed to talking to in the past. My worldview has changed. And I'm so
Mm.
grateful for making that decision to move. And that inspires me that I can live this life regardless. Now I can see that I can live it anywhere. But California opened up my lens and helped me see that there's more.
Beautiful. You mentioned decisions several times. How important are decisions for people's to get to the next level, and what kind of advice do you give them?
Yeah. You know, I tell people all the time, we are not a product of our circumstances. We're a product of our decisions, AKA
Mm.
our choices. And so when we recognize that the decisions we make today not only impact our life today, but for years to come. And it's a process. In fact, I'm writing a book about that. It's called
Okay.
and I won't give you the title yet. I'll surprise you later. But it's
Okay.
about decisions, and it goes along with discipline because those decisions are the pathway to the life that we will lead or live, if you will. And so when
Mhm.
we think about how important our decisions are, here's the truth. We're going to make some decisions that are not favorable, which is what paves the way to our success. You know, people sometimes are afraid of failure, but failure is your stepping stone. That is your way to realize that there's greatness inside of you. We have to have mistakes, missteps in order for us to see that there's opportunity ahead. And I love
Mm.
it because my mistakes have led me to step back, to analyze and say, wait a minute, what could I have done differently? How could this have played out if I went left instead of right? So decisions are everything. But I'll tell you, sometimes we have to know some of those decisions we've made and the setbacks that we had, they were actually setups for comebacks of where we were going in our future. So
Mm.
they're everything. I have a 17-year-old son, and I tell him that on a regular basis. And I remember when he was a child growing up, and they always say, don't cry over spilled milk. And I made it an effort, a conscious effort, that if he ever made a mistake and spilled milk on the floor, that I didn't go, crazy. But
Yeah.
instead, I said, you know what, son, that's a mistake. Here's an opportunity for growth. How do we take this spilled milk example and live it out in our lives?
Mm. He is a blessed young man, have you in his life.
I don't know if he would agree with you, Jim.
Not yet. He when he comes back from college, he'll go, "Wow, mom, you learned a lot in the last 5 years."
Right? Isn't that how it always is? They think you're the strangest, the weirdest, and not so smart until they get out there into the real world. So it's
Right.
a great thing.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about questions.
Sure.
Along with decisions come, well, before you make a decision, how important are questions to ask?
Oh, I could talk all day about that, Jim.
I bet you could.
I'll tell you, questions, when I say decisions are everything, our decisions are based on the questions we do or do not ask.
Mm.
So questions are an opportunity for you to get a better, deeper understanding of the situation that you're in. And they always say that there is no dumb question. Now, I've been a
Mm.
college professor for 23 years, excuse me, and I tell students there is no dumb question because the dumb question is the question you never asked. And if you walk out of this classroom and you did not get that question asked, whether you're in the classroom or you're in a boardroom or maybe you're in the barracks and you did not ask that question, that's a missed opportunity. Information is only gathered when you ask those questions. And I'll be honest, the smartest person in the room is the person asking the questions, not necessarily the person answering, but instead the person asking. They
Mm.
are in the power position and they're getting the information. They're ascertaining what they need to know in order to make that next move.
Very good. I'd like to switch gears a little bit. I
Okay.
noticed in your bio that you have an interest or a passion for health.
Yes.
and you obviously are very healthy.
I like
You
to think so.
you kept yourself, yeah, it very good. So I wanted to just explore that a little bit. What's your passion in health, and what how did that come about for you?
Well, I will tell you, as a young person growing up, I mentioned doing gymnastics and cheerleader. I was also a track star or runner, if you will.
Mhm.
And this was something I did personally for me. I just getting involved in activities growing up. High school did the same thing. Interesting enough, when I went to college, I did not participate in any athletics. I was focused on my books and my grades.
Okay.
During that time, I did go to the military, but I was a student and I went to monthly barracks and boot camps and different things like that. But after college, I got back into that workout. And then in my professional career, I would take a resistance band and a DVD, yes, those old things, on every trip I'd take. Now, here's the truth. I don't know where this came from. And I always ask, I never saw my parents work out.
Mhm.
Truly, and my cousins, my family members, I never saw them do it, but somehow it was ingrained inside of me. And I'll tell you, I being out on the road, seeing people, no one was really exercising, no one was really doing these things. You'd see some here and there. I thought when I moved to California, it'd be an overwhelming amount of people exercising. And I think there are, but there still was very few who decided that their health was their wealth. Something
Mhm.
inside of me. I remember growing up, I was probably around the early 20s. My grandmother would negotiate meals with me to help her do her taxes or chores around her house.
Mhm.
I loved vegetables, and she'd say, "I'd make you a pot of this if you do this." And I was always like, "Yes, I'll do it. I'll do it." And interesting enough, somehow my interest was piqued. I decided to go and take some classes, become a
Okay.
nutritionist. I also
Mm.
became a personal trainer. I also became a running coach because for me, there was superpower inside of me when I was able to tap in. And let me tell you why. And it wasn't just because I looked great, it was because I felt great. The movement is
Mm.
truly medicine. And I discovered that early enough. Now, I tell people all the time, Jim, I have been running now for over 3,000 days in a row. Over
Wow.
3,000 days in a row. And it started with a corporate challenge I gave a client for their team, and I decided to do it alongside them. I said, "Oh, I'll run at least a mile a day from Thanksgiving to New Year's." And I remember doing it that first year. Now, I was already running about 4 days a week. Day 5, 6, and 7 were horrible. I hated every moment of it,
Mm. But you did it.
but I did it. And
Yeah.
I said, when it was over, done. But you know what? There was something that happened. There again, that word discipline.
Mm.
There again, the word decision played into my heart and my head. And I said, next year, I'm going to do it again. That was November 27, 2015. Here we are, April the 4th, 2024, and I'm still doing it. Now, most days it's well over 1 mile. Today it was 5 miles. Yesterday it was 7 miles. The day before that it was 14 miles. So it just varies. But what I learned is that my mental, my physical, my spiritual health was enhanced as a result of that. Let me tell you, I've wrote books, I've wrote podcasts, I've wrote a lot of things, either biking, running, swimming, because that's where I get my juice and my creative energies are flowing in that space. So now I'm addicted.
Mm.
I'm addicted because there's more than just the physical side that comes out of it.
Beautiful. Yeah. What do you do for your diet? What do you eat, if you don't mind me asking?
That's another great question. Well, I don't know if you know, but I am now 100% plant based. I am what many would call vegan. And I will say
Okay.
this, I don't do it for the animal activist rights, I do it for the health benefits.
Okay.
My son, who is 17 years old, being a nutritionist and in the health field, 17 years ago, I made the decision that I would make him a vegetarian. So, vegetables, those were the things that I fed him for 17 years. Somewhere around my 40s, I read an amazing article in Men's Health magazine. Yes, I'm a woman, but I love reading publications of all kinds. And I read an article about veganism and how animal protein versus plant protein, how it processes through our body differently,
Hmm.
how the recovery cycle is different. Now, as a long term athlete, I was intrigued and I made a decision. Wait a minute, let me try. I did a 30-day challenge, 30 days, no cheese, because at this point I already wasn't eating meat and I wasn't doing milk or eggs, but it was the cheese. And I know if you're watching this, you know cheese will
Yeah.
put us in bondage. And I said for 30 days, I was going to do no cheese and no potato chips. Now, potato chips aren't vegan, but I decided I'd give them up for 30 days. 30 days later, I didn't add the cheese back in. So now I have been vegan for almost 15, I'm not telling my age, for many years now. For
Oh,
many years now. For those of you that are wondering, the potato chips are back in my life. I didn't give them up. They are still my friend, my dear, dear friend. So that is pretty much what I eat. And I'll tell you, eat green, eat clean. That's what I tell people. I've been taking leadership programs, corporate programs, and helping them look at how they can grow as individuals, not just from the foods they eat, but from the movement, because all of this thing is one. When we can look at the whole person, we'll
mm.
find that we can elevate in our lives in so many areas.
And I can tell too that you practice what you preach. You're doing it. You've got it incorporated in your life, and you're actually doing it. I mean, you're running, you're eating the right foods, you're making the changes in your life. How do you organize yourself to be able to keep that all going and also, talking about it all the time? You're giving so many great pointers to people, just through your being you.
I appreciate that. That is really, and I'll tell you, some days are better than others.
Uh-huh.
I am by no stretch perfect, and I have been called crazy, but I think I'm worth it. I think I'm worth it. And as a result of that, I'm willing to make the investment in me, my health, because what I recognize is that when investing in me allows me to pour out into my community, pour
Mm,
out into my family, pour out into the businesses that I serve, pour out into the students at the university, pour out at church, pour out everywhere. Because if I'm empty, I can't pour. But when I
mm.
take the time to fill up with my movement, my eating, my meditation, all of those things allows me to go out in the world and not only teach it, but live it.
Beautiful.
And I think that's the best example, leading by example.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on that myself right now. It's not easy. It's so rewarding though.
That's it. It's a sacrifice, Jim. And I tell people that all the time. You can believe that I give up something every day. Every time you say yes, you're saying no to something else. And I make that sacrifice every day because, once again, I believe I'm worth it. I was made to be here. I was made to, I believe, change the world one person at a time, one movement at a time, whatever it takes. But it took me some time to get there. I wasn't always there. And I want to back up just a little bit and share with you 2011, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. So I am now a 12-year breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
And yeah. And so when I think about the journey of going through that process, even in that, a challenging time in my life, I still chose to make those sacrifices so I could be on this screen with you right now, Jim, sharing my story.
Oh, it's such a blessing. I'm working on pulling up a website that you gave me that I'm going to show here called empoweredwomeninwellness.org.
Yes.
And I'd like to share that with our audience. Uh, Give me 1 second.
All right. Well, while you're sharing, I can share a little bit of information about empowered women in wellness. As you've heard, I am passionate about helping people, not people in general, but as a woman, I value my woman community, the women that come alongside me in the journey. And back in 2019, I had this vision of empowered women in wellness. We started podcasting. We started preparing for a conference on March 21st, 2020. So it was
Mm.
3, 2, 1, blast off. And all of you, that's what I was doing. And if you know what happened on March 17th, it prevented the vision from going forward. But I will tell you, I stepped back and I assessed everything. But in 2023, right at the end of 2022, it came back into me. It was like, you need to move forward with this. Don't miss this opportunity. Please go out and empower, equip, educate women on how to touch base and really live the whole life that they're purposed for. And so last year was the first year we hosted this conference, and it was
Mm.
absolutely amazing. We are now a 501(c)(3) organization dedicated.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know that's not easy to do.
Not at all. Not especially in these times. It's challenging because you have to show a purpose, and I believe you have to show passion to
Mm.
help women really take their health as a primary. And the reason I say that is, women, we do a lot. We do a lot more than the average. We have the kids, the career, we have family, we're helping the church, the community. We're doing a lot. And somehow I found that so many women put themselves on the bottom of the list,
Mm.
on the bottom of the list. And so my mission is to help women prioritize their mental health, their physical health, their spiritual health, their relational health. Your families matter. They're not just there as a step stool, they matter. Schedule that time with your husband, schedule that time with your children so they can know that you care about them and that you want to help them see what's available in life. And so last year we had over 25 speakers come in from all across the world to share messages of empowerment and wellness with the community that showed up. And I'll tell you, it was a great event. We are excited to bring it back this year, and we're doing even more. It's going to be even better than it was before.
Fantastic. So if they want to sign up for this, they can go to this website,
That's right.
empowerwomeninwellness.org, and
That's it.
it's being held live.
It is a live event in Southern California. So imagine the wineries in Temecula, California, the beauty around it. When you come here, you're going to get a little slice of heaven. It sits in, we're going to have it at a church because it's one of the largest venue in the area. And it
Mhm.
sits on top of a hill, and you can almost see the valley from the view. So we will be there all day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 8 o'clock, 8 to 9 is our breakfast. 9 o'clock, we're going to kickstart the day with keynote messages. We have the mayor of Marietta being present with us. We also
Mhm.
have Jillian Larson, who is a survivor. She's from the TV show Survivor at one point in time. And then a couple other key speakers, Cindy Williams and myself. And then we have workshop speakers. We will have physical, mental, spiritual, financial tools to help you walk away empowered, equipped to live your full life. But here's the best part. Our theme this year is courage to shine. We're empowering women and giving them the tools to have them have the courage to shine. Because it's not always easy, as you mentioned, Jim, but we want to give them the tools to help them step into their rightful place.
Excellent. So 22 days, 15 hours, 14 minutes. Get signed up now. This
Yes,
is
yes.
great. So there's the prices. Gosh, it seems really reasonable right
It
now.
is for a full day conference. Did I mention that at the end of the day, we're having what I call the afterglow? There are going to be many treatments. We're going to have breath work, stretching. We're having a dessert bar filled with mocktails, if you will. And so
Uh-huh.
it's going to give you that and so much more. And I'll tell you, this is all possible through some of our community sponsors. Sofa Spectrum. I think you know Paul Rangel.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was with us last year and he's back again this year. Dream Reaver Media, who is Sarah Dupre, bringing, and we've got so many more sponsors who just really engage with us this week alone. So they don't even show up here. But I'm excited that they're going to be joining us on this journey to empower women. So if you're a woman out there and you're listening, I want to invite you to come join us. If you're a husband and you have a lady or a daughter or a cousin or niece, invite them to come and be a part of this. I promise you, it's something they don't want to miss and something they will not regret at the end of the day. Fun in store.
Empoweredwomeninwellness.org.
That's it.
Excellent. Well, our time is going fast. I have one more question, Kimberle. You got time for one more?
I've got time. Anything for you, Jim.
Oh, you're sweet. So, what I'd like to do is ask you a question. I ask this of everybody on the show. So, it's taking a look at your whole life.
Okay.
What was the boldest leadership decision that you've made, and what were the consequences?
The boldest leadership decision I made was to believe in myself. That's it. To believe in myself. And the consequences have been priceless. If I didn't believe, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'll tell you, there's power in belief, believing that you can and taking those baby steps. It's not about giant leaps, it's about taking those baby steps and watching the magic happen, watching the transformation take place. Because when you do, there's success waiting for you on the other side. Again, I tell you, once you see success, it becomes addictive. Now, the question is, will you take the step? Will you believe in yourself enough to see all that life has in store for you?
Excellent. So inspirational. Thank you, Kimberle Smith Austin, for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much, Jim C. Miller, for having me. I truly enjoyed our time together.
Likewise. And we'll have to have you on again soon.
I'd love that. Please do. And thank you again for having me. What a tremendous opportunity to spend this time with you and share with your audience.
Yeah, very good. And one more last time, empoweredwomeninwellness.org. Go there, get signed up, go to that event. You're gonna love it.
22 days, 22 days. Come and get the courage to shine.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And we'll sign off.
All right.
Hang
Have
on.
a great one.